Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r// Tales from Tech Support. In today's episode, $10 million worth of schematics in Windows 98. Tales from aircraft maintenance, off means off. But you sent me an email. Maximizing Windows for users is now IT's responsibility. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. $10 million worth of schematics in Windows 98. Reading though some TFTS today, as I'm supporting a meeting, reminded me of this old gem. Let me take you back to late 2002/early 2003. I was doing contract work for a fabrication company in Massachusetts that makes nose cones for the space shuttles. This was not their primary business, but nonetheless, walking through the plant floor and seeing these giant sheets of metal being heated up and slowly bent into a cone was pretty impressive. Through this company, I became very skilled in CAD workstation setups, getting the nice Fire GL cards for the engineers, Muley monitor workstations, massive, at the time, amounts of RAM. Even got to play with the 3D Labs Wildcat cards. This company had a number of pieces of hardware/software still running, including an old VAX stuck in a small room that ran a design database. This is how I got in the door, yay VAX. However, this tale regards a single machine, an old gateway PC, that is set up in the corner, running Windows 98 2nd edition on an old CRT monitor. This machine is not online. This machine was only used to bring up old designs and print them to a local planner printer. Now, the explanation I received was that the software was proprietary and obsolete. The company who created it had long since gone out of business. The designs could not be ported to new software, they would have had to be completely redone in new modern software. But at least they had the installer CD with serial, but the software would not run on Windows XP, leaving it regulated to this old P2 hardware. However, this machine has started crashing more and more, and they are getting nervous. The data is backed up, and hasn't changed in years, and while they don't use or need this machine often, they no longer trust it. So, after much discussion, talking with the finance team, discussing with my coworkers, we decide on a simple course of action. We purchase a nice new Dell Dimension desktop, P4 with 256 megabytes of RAM, we get it. We wipe Windows XP and reinstall Windows 98 SE. Surprisingly, the hunt for drivers wasn't that bad. I recall, I know we did have some minor issues with finding some, including have to grab some hacked driver for a dodgy site, but hey, sometimes you have to do things you don't want. So, Windows is installed. The updates that can be installed are, we connect to the planner and install the design software, and it goes without a hitch. Launch the software, go through the config, point to the data for the designs and open. Crash random error message. Try again, crash. Check setup versus the working PC, the same, okay, slightly different, so I move the designs to the exact same folder structure as on the old PC instead of the logical place I've saved it, same result, software launches, software crashes. Google as it was useless. This software was apparently not well loved, not often used, and info on it in general is scarce. The error messages bring up issues for other pieces of software, but not this one. Sorry, I don't recall the name. I want to say FireCAD, but it's been so long. So I drag out another monitor, and I've got them hooked up, side by side. Okay, hard drive is bigger on the new PC, I hope that's not the answer. The old PC had 128 megabytes, so I strip out the 256 megabytes chip and drop in 128 megabytes, no change, same crash. Mouse? Keyboard? Monitor? I swap everything that was hooked to the old PC to the new one, still crash. Screen resolution is identical, everything looks right. We start going through the software, we track down and install old versions of WinZip. We install the old version of Java that the old machine has, we start going through the updates, removing the updates from the new machine so they are patch identical. Still crashing, still failing. We audit again, each step we are one-to-one as exact as humanly possible. At this point, we start thinking about repairing the old PC, as this is seemingly a failure. I'm sitting back in a chair, just looking at these two CRT monitors. I've even put the same shortcuts on the desktop, just in case. Short of shaking the magical bag of chicken bones, I'm stumped. I'm sipping my coffee and looking at these screens, from one to the other, from one to the other. Back and forth, same wallpaper, same icons. Maybe it's the P4? It's a big jump from P2 to P4, maybe it's some errata? Back and forth, digging into my eyes, something I'm missing, something stupid. These things are always something stupid. Does that IE logo look better on the new one? I scoot closer, maybe it's my imagination. I look at other logos, everything on the new one looks a minuscule bit better to me. Display properties, same resolution. Color depth, different. Old PC is 16-bit, new PC is 32-bit. Flip the new one down to 16-bit color, launch the program. Success. This software was so old that 32-bit color depth crashed it. Something so minute, so insignificant caused so much pain. I hope that in the following years they moved away from that, or virtualized it, but I lost touch. But the company is still around, still going strong, and I wonder if my little dimension is in there chugging away. Tales from aircraft maintenance, off means off. In a past life I was an avionics technician. I had quite a few interesting experiences, good, bad and otherwise. A few of them I can even share with all of you here. About 10 years ago, as a lowly avionic tech, I was told to debrief the pilot, first debrief ever, on the circumstances of a recurring problem with one of their systems. While delving into the how and when of the issue with one of the crew members, the electronic warfare officer, $EDUB, pulls me aside and to ask me a question. His awkward nervousness was apparent. After about 5 minutes of beating it around the bush, he asks his question. I am not sure that my system is working correctly in offensive mode, he says to me. There is no offensive mode on system. There is a wafer switch with 4 positions, off, STBY, test, and def. I inform him that there is no offensive mode. That was the off, as in offline, position, and that if the system is not powered on then that position is working as intended. Instead of accepting that he is wrong, $EDUB becomes indignant. He does not believe me. Obviously, if there is a def position that means defensive mode, then there must also be an offensive mode off. He then proceeds to confer with the rest of the aircrew. They come to his aid, only to haze him. After another 30+ minutes of disagreement, the senior pilot suggests we go out to another jet and see who is right. They all watch as I go through the power on process, which requires I drag a heavy power cord from the generator to the jet, check breakers and finally flip the required switches. No one helps. Once fully warmed up, we check the systems. We flip the system to STBY as part of the warm-up cycle. Ready lights come on. He flips it back to OFF, the lights go out. $EDUB turns to me with a self-satisfied look and shouts, "See, right in my face." I reply that this is functioning as designed. Of course, he won't accept it. We move to another jet. Different jet, same results. At this point, I am tired of hooking up power and shutting down these jets. The aircrew have had their fun. Now it is time for me to have mine. I suggest that we look at his operations manual. He didn't bring his today. I am not surprised. One of the other crew members has one. I look up that system and guess what? Off powers the system down, as in turns it off. I point this out to him. He complains to my boss about my disrespectful attitude. This story is dedicated to you, baby cakes, the intern. But you sent me an email. Just happened a few moments ago. Every time this coworker has to ask me something, I take a deep breath and get ready for whatever ridiculous conversation we're going to have. Last week, one of my coworkers took over the company's Twitter page. I emailed him the username and password which everyone can find from our database, but I was trying to make it easy for him. I'm surprised it took a week for something like this to happen. Coworker, did you change the password for our Twitter account? I tried logging in for an hour this morning. Me, no, why would I do that? CW, I can't log in. Me, okay, well I didn't change the password. CW, well, you sent me the email with the account info last week. Me, I did, I just copied it from our database which everyone has access to. If you can't log in, you can ask for a password reset, and then go talk to other coworker who controls that email. It's easy. CW, yeah, but you sent me the email with the login. Me, yes, that's true. But I don't have access to the Twitter account email. Go talk to her. CW, why would I talk to her? You sent me the email with the account information. Me, yes, but if you can't log in, you should try to reset or recover the password. An email will be sent to the email account associated with the Twitter account. I don't have access to that email, but other coworker does. Go talk to her. CW, but you sent me the original email. Me, I don't have access to that email account. CW, yeah, but you sent me the email, can't you just give me the password? This went on for a few more moments until he finally went over to my other coworker who was 5 feet, about 1.5 meters, away. The problem? He wasn't typing in the right password. Only 3 days until I'm on vacation. Maximizing Windows for users is now IT's responsibility. Jumping straight into the story. There are less users on site than usual due to the eve of a major holiday, so I was able to escape to a dark corner and type this up. Multiple help desk emails over 3 or so weeks about a user unable to format their document. Keep asking for screenshots or more detail. Of course, none are ever supplied. Finally, user's manager gets in the loop, stating it was unacceptable that we as IT professionals didn't show this user how to format documents, etc. Notwithstanding that teaching users basic computer skills should not be in IT's scope, I finally suss out user's office location. I had never visited this user before, and strangely, their location is one I had scarce been to. I walk in, introduce myself, and the conversation goes. Me, hi, can you show me the issue so we can work on a solution? User, sure, double-clicks icon for word processor. Something strikes me as off with the clicking. Sure enough, user is clicking with the bottom of their pinky. See, at this point, I notice the user is using the mouse upside down. I stare in disbelief for a few moments, then snap out of it. Amazingly, user is as fast using this method as anyone doing it. Normally, the fix was literally click the square in the middle of the minus and X. Careful about the next utterances leaving my mouth, I ask. Is this how you use your computer at home? User laughs, oh no, I don't have a computer at home. I'd never really touched one until I was hired here. I didn't dare ask the question of whether user had heard of things like appliances or furniture. I figured I had a 50% chance of being right. See earlier comments users living like cavemen. User thanks me for my assistance, and I walk away, backwards, and slowly close the door, trying to process what I've witnessed. I then open the door again, ever so slightly, making sure I didn't leave behind some doorway to another dimension.